Well, Karnataka High Court is right now hearing a batch of petitions filed by the students who have been fighting for their right to wear the hijab inside the classroom. But what we're also looking at right now is Justice Krishna Dikshit has asked for reference if it can be referred to a larger bench, because it requires, in terms of as far as this particular hijab issue is concerned, various other opinions is required, and hence he's also asking for reference if it can be referred to a larger bench, and the hearing is underway at the moment. Arguments are on. Was also important to note that just a few hours ahead of the Karnataka High Court's hearing, what we did witness here was the political blame game that is still on, because BC Nagesh, the education minister, and several other political leaders were also trying to pin the blame on other political parties, saying that they are the ones who try to instigate this entire issue and polarize the issue as far as saffron versus hijab inside the college campuses, because that's exactly what's happened. From the story, what started for the fight for the hijab by a few students, a group of few students, which could have settled within, in terms of whether a dialogue within the college administration and the parents, or probably even for that matter the district administration. Instead, it flared up as far as the saffron versus hijab issue is concerned. Remember, it's already into a lot of other colleges across the state, and also dividing, where we are looking at political and communal overtones to it, dividing the students based on as far as the communal and political overtones, what we are looking at. But what's important to note at this point in time is even the CFI at the moment, the Campus Front of India, the activists and the members of it have come out now saying that the Sangh Parivar is behind this. They are the ones who have instigated the students, because as it is, there were several of the Muslim students wearing the hijab and entering the college, and they clearly did not see a trigger, and they have pinned that blame on the Sangh Parivar and various other right-wing outfits. So this is exactly as far as the entire issue is concerned. Remember, from various political leaders, various political parties that's been involved, to students that's been divided as far as the communal lines are concerned, and now the High Court that's hearing the batch of petitions filed by these Muslim students. Back to you.
Right, Shrija. So interesting that the judge has now asked whether the entire matter can in fact be referred to a larger bench. This presumably means that, there's probably nothing really conclusive that's going to come out of this particular hearing. Or that's the indication, at least at this point. But tell us what's happening on the ground. In Shivamoga, we've been seeing these visuals of flag marches by the police. Has there been any further repeat of violence? With campuses closed, are things quieter, calmer?
Well, as far as the Shivamoga incident is concerned, what we witnessed yesterday was the saffron-clad students, the male students, where one of them had hoisted a saffron flag on the flag post. Now, clearly that stoked a controversy, also questioning the fact that instead of fighting for right to education, what we are looking at is the children, the students who are being divided based on religion and communal lines. But what's important today, what we witnessed here is, this is the MGM college where we are standing right now. Just last morning, what we saw yesterday morning, there was huge confrontation. In fact, huge number of students who had gathered right here. We had two groups, one group of students, both boys and the girls, clad in saffron shawls and the headgear, and then we also saw another group of students wearing the hijab, where they wanted to enter the college, attend the classes, but that clearly did not happen. This is the very college where we had reported yesterday from, but today it is very calm at the moment. This is just right after where Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai, he had ordered the closure of schools, high schools and colleges for 3 days. This is yesterday, the announcement that came. So right now there's not really any protest or any sort of, in terms of where student gathering that's been happening. But what we do know is, just this morning, Shivamoga, at the government first grade college where this saffron flag was hoisted, the flag was brought down, and we understand a student wing of the Congress hoisted the national flag.
Right. Shrija, also more politicians now weighing in on this entire hijab debate. We've heard Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi Vadra first tweet, and then she talked about it also, saying effectively it's a woman's right to wear anything she wants, and that's enshrined in the Indian constitution. It's time to stop harassing students. Strong words there. Has there been any sort of response from local authorities, from in fact the government in Karnataka?
Well, it is very appalling, for the fact that what we are looking at the moment, where BC Nagesh, the education minister, where he has reacted to this recent Mandya incident. He also questions the fact by not really understanding what went wrong on ground. In fact, this government, as far as the BJP government is concerned, though it could have taken, as far as the law and order could have been maintained, instead, stayed quiet for all these days. They remained predominantly silent. We only saw the BJP leaders, including ministers, in fact, giving out statements saying that they have to maintain status quo. They should follow the guidelines as far as the uniform code is concerned. Now, this is all this they had maintained all throughout over the last 1.5 months. But it is only when the situation went completely out of control, we saw, and not just at one college, but at multiple colleges, at multiple locations across the state of Karnataka, how this entire controversy had erupted and flared up, in fact, where several students have also been injured in such stone pelting and lathi charging incidents which took place in Bagalkot and Shivamogga districts. So as far as the political leaders are concerned right now, even now as we speak, they are just indulging in political blame game as to who really instigated this entire hijab versus saffron row. Now that is the debate as far as the politics in Karnataka is concerned.
Right. Shrija, do stay with us. Let's show our viewers those visuals. A national flag hoisted inside the government first grade college campus. This was where a saffron-clad student had hoisted a saffron flag on a flag post during some of the protests. The national flag was later hoisted by activists of the National Students' Union of India. On Wednesday, when the saffron versus hijab row had intensified, a student of this college had hoisted the saffron flag on this flag post. There were reports that the national flag had been taken down, which were later refuted. All right, let's go across to our panelists joining us on this discussion. Madhusudan Gopalakrishnachari, BJP leader and former MLC, is with us, as is Sanket Yanagi, KPCC spokesperson. Let me begin with you, sir, Madhusudan Gopalakrishnachari. Your thoughts at this point as we wait to hear more from the Karnataka High Court as well. The real debate appears to be why this has suddenly become an issue. Were these girls not wearing a hijab earlier? Is that the contention? Has it suddenly started? Even if this is the case, what gives anyone the right to question what people are wearing?
Madam, this all started just a month ago from a college in Udupi. That too concerned with only 6 Muslim students. This was not a case anywhere in Karnataka. This uniform has been a practice ever since my childhood days. Some 40 years, 50 years ago, we have been seeing wearing uniform, all children going to school, studying there. It was not an issue at all at any point of time.
Why did the uniform, sir, not incorporate a hijab if this is indeed a matter of religious belief? It can still be a uniform, can it not?
This all started only from a couple of months, because now the election is picking up in the state of Karnataka in the coming days, and particularly SDPI, which is an outfit of PFI, Popular Front of India. Both of them, they have got a base in Kerala. And these 3 districts, maybe Mangalore, Udupi and North Kerala, they are all coastal districts.
So let me understand this, Mr. Gopalakrishna. You are saying this is in effect a pre-election stunt, and it's being it's being deliberately turned into a political issue.
SDPI wanted to corner the vote bank of Muslims, and all these days.
Yes, go ahead. We can hear you.
Now this is a test.
All right, we seem to be having some trouble there with Mr. Gopalakrishna's number. Let's try and fix that in a moment.
Does not want to leave their grip over the Muslim community.
Yes.
That's why they are fighting. It is only a fight for Muslim vote bank between SDPI and Congress.
All right.
Nothing more than that.
Let the spokesperson of the Karnataka Congress, Mr. Yanagi, actually respond to that. I think we've lost that line with Mr. Gopalakrishna. But Sanket Yanagi, respond to that argument here that this is purely a pre-election gimmick. This is in order to try and corner a specific vote bank. And, this was never an issue before. Why has this suddenly surfaced just a month ago or a couple of months ago?
What Mr. Madhusudan Gopalachar has said is very true. It is an election gimmick by the BJP. It is not from the Congress. Every time, if you can see the previous election and the history of the previous elections, it has been very clear that before 1 year of the election, BJP starts such things, such riots in that part of the southern part of the Karnataka, mostly in the coastal regions. And this has been the history. History reveals these things. And in every incident, every such riot, every such galata, it is the BJP's hand which has been found. And more so, the BJP cannot talk as if everything is clean on their hand, number one. And number two, coming back to this hijab issue, let me point out, the matter is already seized with the court. However, let me point out three important aspects here. Yes. Firstly, the way Kirpan is a spurred. Kirpan is a essential religious practice which has been recognized by the Constitution of India under Article 25, Sub-Article 2B explanation. Hijab is also essential religious practice. Namam is also religious practice. Turban is also religious practice. In as much as there are several other religious practices, including the tilak. And uniform and hijab are two different things. Insofar as the uniform is concerned, the students never said they would not wear the uniform. That has been very clear. Where there is a uniform already codified by the institution, the students are bound and they would be agreeing to the same. In the absence of any uniform dress code, the students from all the communities are wearing according to their will and wish, whims and fancies, according to their culture, according to the latest fashion, be that as it may, according to their conveniences and economic capabilities as well. But in the absence of uniform, all these things were happening. But where there is a uniform prescribed, all are wearing uniform, but hijab is not a part of uniform because it will not be a part of a uniform. The reason being, whatever below the neck till the toe of a human being is called as an uniform, like the top, bottom, belt, tie, shoe and socks.
So you're saying, okay, Mr. Yanagi, we get your point. You're effectively saying that a head covering should not qualify in this place, but really isn't the larger question if other markers of religious belief are allowed, as you point out, including the Kripan, then, why is the hijab being singled out? I believe we have Mr. Gopalakrishna back. Do you want to respond?
Yeah. This all started from Udupi. In that school, this uniform has been coded, and all these days, even these students, they were not wearing hijab all these days. They used to wear hijab or burqa, whatever they wanted, till they entered the school. Once they enter the school, they used to, in fact, remove all those things, keep in their bags, and participate in the classroom like any other students. This all started only 1.5 months ago at the instigation of SDPI and the influence of Congress. This is what is happening. And throughout the state, overnight it is picked up only because of the vote bank politics of the
All right, so
Congress
we have both sides accusing the other of pre-election politics in order to polarize and cash in on a vote bank. But Sanket Yanagi, quick last words from you. We've just been hearing from the Karnataka High Court, which has resumed its hearing on the matter, and the judge saying perhaps the matter should be referred to a larger bench. Your thoughts?
Yes, since there are several constitutional questions involved, like the fundamental right, like right to have an education, which is a fundamental right, and right to practice or profess a particular religion of his choice, that is also a fundamental right. Like the way I have pointed out about Kirtan, whether this hijab also forms part of the religious practices or not, whether it is covered under Article 25 sub Article 2 or the explanation thereunder, is a question to be decided by the High Court. So, essential religious practice have to be understood in the line of the Quran or any other holy books or the holy practices which they have adopted so far.
Right.
And that has to be examined, for which reason the court is of the opinion prima facie that this is involving a larger issue than just a constitutional issue which requires to be adjudicated by the constitutional bench or the larger bench. And perhaps the opinion of the court has also been supported by the other advocates contending parties, and it is left to the court as to how it takes a call on this issue now.
All right, we leave it at that for the moment. Thank you both for joining us on this show.